Good vach, Chodesh Tov, Chodesh Nishin, Tafshin Pei Hey, and we are on Kuf Aleph on the days with 10 lines from the bottom. 10 lines from the bottom, and we're discussing Yeravam. Yeravam ben Nevat was the melech of the first melech of Yisrael, meaning not of the Yehuda. He was the melech of the 10 Shvatim, and basically this is his story. We know he doesn't have Chelik Olam Haba, and this is the story of Yeravam ben Nevat. So, Amar Rav Nachman, says Rav Nachman, again with 10 lines up from the bottom, says Rav Nachman, Gasas Haruach Shahayi Babi Yeravam, the gaiva that was in Yeravam, Tirdasim in Oilam, that took him out of the world. Shnemar, Bayami Yeravam Belibai. Ata, says Yeravam, Ata Toshav Hamalacha Lebeis David, if the people go up to bring karbanis, and they'll return to their master El Rechavam, Melech Yehuda, they'll kill me, Vishavu El Rechavam, Melech Yehuda. So therefore, he realizes if they go up, they're going to kill him. Why? Omar, Gemiri, Dein Yeshiva Ba'azara El Lemalchus, Malchei Beis David Bovad. There is a Messiah. Rashi says, Halacha Moshe Misinai, that the only one who in the Azara is Malchus Beis David. You have to be from a descendant of David to sit in the Azara. Rashi says over here, in other places, Rashi, in Samach Gimel, I think Rashi said that it's, or Samach Hey, he said that he brings a pasuk. That's the pasuk that you're not allowed to sit. That pasuk that says that Lamoy l'shares, guys, to stand, l'shares, to serve. So that tells us you're not allowed to sit. What's the pasuk that tells me that Yehuda is allowed to sit? That's Halacha Moshe Misinai. That's the way the Margolia said explained it. So it's not a steer in Rashi that in one place he brings Halacha Moshe Misinai, other place he brings the pasuk. The other place he's bringing the pasuk is to tell me that you can't sit. Over here, the Halacha Moshe Misinai is to tell me that Malchus Beis David could sit. So it's two differently mudim. Anyway, so what's Yeravam worried about? That people are gonna come up and they're gonna see him, and keeping the chazi lechavam the Yosef. I'll see Rechavam sitting. And I'll be standing, Savri, Hamalka Va'avda. Rechavim's the king, and I'm his servant. Sivna, and if I sit down, Mori b'Malchus have. They'll look at me as a Mori b'Malchus on the Malchus Beis David, the Karlina lane, they'll kill me. V'yazlu basrei, and they'll follow Rechavam. So therefore, he had a problem. If Bnei Yisrael made it to the Beis HaMikdash b'shas oil regel, it's going to destroy his Malchus. So he's up in the north, and he comes up with the following plan. By Yivoatz HaMelech, and he goes ahead and he comes and he takes an eitzah. Vayash shnei eglei zahav, he makes 2 calves of gold. Vayomer aleihem rav lochem ma'alas Yushalayim, it's too far to go up. Pine elekecha Yisrael asher haluchem eretz Yisrael, here is the gods that took out of Mitzrayim. Vayasem esa'echad beis el, he puts one of them in beis el. V'esa'echad nasan bidon, and the other one he puts bidon. That was his eitzah. Now, how did it work? What do you mean he took eitzah? Amar Rabbi Yehuda shahoyshiv Rasha eitzel tzaddik. In this council that he had Rosh B'shayim sitting next to tzaddikim. Amalahu, Yeravam told these people, Chas misu al kol Davidna, will you sign on everything I tell you to do? Amalayin, Amalahu, Malka be'ina lemahave, I want to become the king. Amalayin, that's fine. Kol da'amina lechu avidasai, will you do everything I tell you? Amalayin, they said what? Yes, they repeated. Afilu lemiflach la'avodas kechavim, would you even serve avodah zara? Amalei tzaddik, the people who were the tzaddikim, they said, what are you talking about? Chas v'shalom. Amalei Rasha l'tzaddik, said the Rasha to the tzaddik, Sal kedaitach the gavra ki yeravam palach la'avodas kechavim. Do you think a great person, we're going to see that how great a person he was in Torah, but he ever possibly go ahead and entertain the thought of going ahead and serving avodah zara? Ella, you know why he said this? Leminsinuhu dekaboy. He wants to test us to our level of loyalty. Ikablisu lememra. So he doesn't really want us to do avodah zara. He just wants to test us. Amid Aleph. And therefore they signed. V'af Achia Shiloini, even Achia Shiloini. Now Achia was he was one of those people who left Mitzrayim. He mamish was he heard the Torah from Moshe. He's a very old man, and he was he was sent by Hashem to tell Yeravam that he would be given to be Moshel over what the 10 Shvatim, that the Malchus is going to be what? Divided. That was his Nevi'ah. And even he signed up. Now, how do you know he signed? The Yehu was the 10th king of the kingdom in the north. He was the 10th king of Malchus Malchei Yisrael. And he was a very, very, very tzaddik guy. He was a tzaddik rabba. Shenemar, Vayom Hashem el Yehu, Yan asher hitivoisa la'asois hayosha be'enai, v'chol asher b'lvavi asisa lebeis achav b'nei reviim, yeshvu l'cha al kisei Yisrael. Because you did what I told you to do, you got rid of Achav. He killed Achav and all his followers. And as a result, the house of Achav. As a result, his 4 children would sit on the throne. And now, Uksiv vayehu lo shama lo leches b'toras Hashem Elahei Yisrael b'chol avavoi l'sami al chatois Yeravam asher echtias Yisrael. So on one hand, you tell me he was such a tzaddik that even 4 of his children followed, and it says that Yehud, he didn't follow what Hashem told him. It says lo shama lo leches b'toras Hashem. He didn't do it. What happened to him? It says he didn't turn away from Yeravam, and so my Gormalay, what caused him, Yehu, who apparently initially was a tzaddik of a guy, and then he permitted again. He's the melech of the north, and he's permitting to keep these agolim of Zohar that he set up. That in the north they set up, and then he kept them around. How come? If he was a tzaddik and he got rid of Achav, who was the biggest Levit of Avodah Zarah, certainly should have gotten rid of those. So I'm Rabbi, bris kruselis vasayim. A bris, he made a bris with his lips. What was his bris with his lips? Shenemar. Achav said, Oved es habal ma'at. He said, Achav served the Baal a little bit. Yehu yavdinu harbe. Yehu was going to serve them a lot. So therefore, all the people of the Baal, they said, wow, Achav served it a little bit. Yehu was going to serve it a lot. So they all gathered together. And you know what Yehu did? He wiped them all out. In other words, this was he baited the Baal in, the people who served the Baal, which was the Avodah Zarah of the time. He baited them, saying, Achav did a little bit, I'm going to do so much. Now, however, since he said that, it came out of his mouth, what happened? He was nichshel. They said like a person, someone says something and it happens. So this is bris chorus, what was the Lashon? Bris karuselis fasayim, that this came out of his mouth, and a result of it coming out of his mouth, right? My brother Siyam says this is an example of something. You say something, it happens. You say something and it happens. So, forgot his lashon. Amar Abaya, bris karuselis fasayim. Shenemar, okay. Rava Amar, this is the one we need. Rava Amar says Rava, right? Yehu saw what turned him away. He saw that signature of Achi HaShiloni, that he signed on to allow this. So this thing that initially that Achia was tricked into it, thinking that it's only showing your loyalty to Yeravam, and caused Yehu, who had been at Tzaddik, to now go ahead and reverse. So this is the rayas from a Rava. Okay? So now we know that Yeravam, he didn't let people be oil regel. He set up centuries that the people shouldn't go, and this existed for many years, that people weren't going up. As a result, it says in the Navi Hosea, it says, V'shachata Satan miku v'ani musul l'kulam. Okay, what's the meaning of this? I'm Rabbi Yochanan, I'm HaKadosh Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, Heim miku mishali, they were more oimik than me. They went beyond what I said. Ani amarti kol she'ena oila l'regel oiva ba'aseh. I said a person is not oiva ba'regel, is oiva an aseh. V'heim amru kol oila l'regel yitka b'cherev, you get killed. So you see, they say miku. In other words, they're more deeper than me in a way. They're being more machmir, it's facetiously in a way. That it's only a mitzvah saying. They said if you are oil regel, it's not an asay, but you get killed. Vayibe sahi v'yeravam yotzam Yushalayim. This is what we have that Achia Shiloni meets Yeravam, and he tells him he's going to be the king of the north. Vayibe sahi v'yeravam yotzam Yushalayim. V'yim soisei Achia Shiloni hanavi b'derech v'mischase b'samlach chadasha, and he was wearing a samla chadasha, a new shirt. Tanim Mishum Rabbi Yossi, machlekes whose shirt it was. Tanim Mishum Rabbi Yossi, Ace he mizumenes lepronius. This was a time that was Ace lepronius. This meeting between Achia and Yeravam, this was a really, really bad time, guys. This is going to be the beginning of the 10 Shvatim going off, guys. In other words, if you don't believe the Asar Shvatim came back, this is the beginning. This is the beginning of the northern Shvatim, except with the exception of Yehuda, Binyamin, and Levi. Everyone was lost. All 10 were lost, and this is the beginning of it. So this is an ace, a time that's Muzumenes Lepronius. The ace Pekudasam Yavedu. You see other places that where an ace. It says the ace Pekudasam. The hour when they visit him, they'll get lost. Tanim Mishum Rabbi Yossi, ace Muzumenes Lepronius. This is the time that's Muzumenes Lepronius. The ace Ratzon in Isicha, when it says in an hour of favor I'll answer you. This is a time that what is very good. You know, you're different the shyness, right? Ubiyoim pakti upakarti aleim chatasam. The day will come and I'll bring the. You'll have to take. You have to pay the piper. So to say for your averis. Tanim Mishum Rabbi Yossi, ace himus umenes lepronius. Let's see Rashi here. Ubiyoim pakti b'tishabav. This is speaking about Tishabav. Shebechol Hashana me oisa mem shana shamdum amidbar yoim mizum lepronius by chazum meraglim by nechrav habayis perishon eshniya. This is a really bad time. The Meraglim came back with their report and so on and so forth. Vayi beisahi vayerid Yehuda me esachav. Another sign that Ace is a beisahi is that Yehuda went down, and we know it caused the death of Erev Oinan and Tamar. Didn't die, but they was going to almost die. Tanim Mishum Rabbi Yossi, Ace mizumenes lepronius. Okay. V'yelech Rechavam Shechem. Rechavam came to Shechem. Ki Shechem ba kol Yisrael laham l'chaysai. The people of Shechem, they came to go ahead and make him the king. Tanim Mishum Rabbi Yossi, Makom mizum lepronius. Shechem was a place that was mizum lepronius. B'Shechem ino estinoi. Shechem Dina had been the avera that Shechem did to him. She was ma'anasa. B'Shechem machru echav es Yosef. B'Shechem Yosef was sold. B'Shechem nechelcha malchus beis David. In Shechem, that's where the Malchus was split. Rechavam is going to be the king there, and Yeravim is going to be the king in the north. It says, Yeravim yatzim Yerushalayim. This is getting back to the meeting with Achia. Amrav Chanina bar Papa, sheyatzim mi piska shel Yerushalayim. He left the piska. I don't know exactly what that means. I know what Art School says. It left the environs of Yerushalayim. Rashi says, Mechlala shlei lachse balo oilam v'leilita chelik me'avoid the parish. Whatever Yerushalayim had to offer, he left. In other words, he left what it had. It says Rashi says avoida, but he didn't have a part of the avoida. Guys, he was Rechavam. Yeravam was from, I think, Yosef. He descended from Yosef, so so the Gersi is Kfaida. He left the covenant of Yerushalayim. Avoid, he wasn't a Levi, he wasn't a Kohen, but he left the covenant of Yerushalayim. And he met him, and they were alone in the field. It says, and they were all in the field together. My besamla chadash. What does it mean a new robe? Nachman says, that the mashal of Yeravim's Torah, guys, like Yeravim's Torah was what? Was like a new robe. It's perfect. There's nothing wrong with it. After there was no suffix. It was perfect. Again, Yeravim must have been some Talmud Chacham for Achia Shiloni to go ahead and sign that, thinking that the only reason he's doing it is to test them. Guys, there wasn't, you read the Gemara and you say to yourself, oh, how could they have been fooled, right? If Chaim Kanievsky, as someone who knew Torah like Chaim Kanievsky, Zechat Tzaddik Kodesh Avracha, would say something, would carry a lot of weight, right? Carry a lot of weight. Again, this is big Nisayan. So this person Yeravam was like a Salma Chadasha. It was like a Salma Chadasha that he was affected by. Ma Salma Chadasha ain't by Shem Doifi. After Rasa Shal Yeravam Lehoya by Shem Doifi. Davar Acher, Salma Chadasha, Shechitshu Devarim Shlei Shama Oisem Yoilam. They were Mechadish things, the conversation between Yeravam and Achia, they were Mechadish, unbelievable things in Torah. Mamish, that things never people heard before. Umay Shneim Levadim Basada. What does it mean they both were alone in the field? Amar Rav Yehuda Amar Rav, Shekol Talmidei Chachamim doimim l'fneim ke'isvei asad. The old time they were like nothing. They were like grass compared to them. Again, the Torah Shabbat Peh is going ahead and lauding the great Yeravam. And it's amazing how this person, with all this Torah, can possibly go off to the extent that he has no chelik to Olam Haba. Talmidei Chachamim doimim l'fneim ke'isvei asad. V'ikad Yami Shekol Talmid Torah megulam lehem kesada. All the depths of Torah, all the reasons of Torah was revealed to them like an open field. Okay, now this is the Asar Shvatim. They're getting Musa for leaving David. L'chein titni shaluchim al mereshes gas batei achsiv la'achsav l'malchei Yisrael. What does this mean? Amar Chanina bar Papa Yatsa Baskol v'Amar lahem. Baskol goes out and says, Misha haragas haplishti, the one who killed Goliath, v'harish eschem gas, and as a result caused you to inherit gas. Titnu shiluchim libanov. Should it be that you will go ahead and leave him? But they achsav la'achsav l'malchei Yisrael, right? And you're going to go ahead. You'll go ahead, and you who followed Yeravam, you're going to fall to those who go ahead and went after them. Rashi said, let's see Rashi over here, explain it much better. But they achsav la'achsav l'malchei beis David atem mechazvin. The matei beis David you're leaving. V'lachtem achem malchei Yisrael lefikach. You're going to be given over to the Achsav. You're going to be given over to what? To people who are liars. They're full of lies. So that's what it means. You're following the liar, you're following Yeravam, and you'll fall in the hands of what? People who are also liars. Yeravam was a liar, saying he was the king, and he'll as well, saying these regards. Amr of Chanina bar Papa, Kol hanenem min ha'olam hazeh b'lei bracha. Anyone who has enough from in this world without a bracha, kilu goyz l'kadosh baruch hu knesses Yisrael. You're like you're robbing Kadosh Baruch Hu, and you're robbing what? Knesses Yisrael. If you see the top Rashi, ve'en gezel klape ma'ilo klape Knesses Yisrael elazubel belvad. Shamayneim levarech Knesses Yisrael. Ku goyzel. When you hold back a bracha, you're going ahead and you're not benching Klal Yisrael. You're stealing. Kadosh Baruch Hu shechachamim tiknu al kol davar v'davar bracha kedam hasam kol atoyim ve'enam mevarech nikra gazlan shenemar l'Hashem aretz malaya. So you're stealing from, not only you're stealing from Hashem, you're stealing also from Knesset Yisrael. Okay, if you have enough. Shenemar goysel avi ve'imoy ve'omer ein poshet chaver hu le'ish mashches. He robs from his mother's father. He says, I didn't do anything wrong. He's a chaver to what? To an ish mashches, to a person who destroys things. Ve'in avi ve'la Kadosh Baruch Hu. Shenemar halahu avicha kanecha. Ve'inimo el Knesset Yisrael. Shenemar shma b'ni musa avicha ve'al tita ishtaris yimecha. Right. My chava hu ish mashkes. What do you mean is a chava to what? An ish mashkes. What does that mean? Chava hu li Yeravam ben Nevat shehichshich Yisrael avinu shebashamayim. The ish mashkes is Yeravam who destroyed the relationship that would existed between what? Between Klal Yisrael and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Now, vayadach Yeravam es Yisrael me'achrei Hashem ve'chtiyam chata gadol Yeravam. He pushed Klal Yisrael away from Hashem and he caused him to commit a grace aveira. Amr B'chanin kishtei makles hamatisa zuazu, like two sticks, one is hitting the other. Okay. Now, since you described, now what was the aveira? They were doing avodah zarah. They ended up serving these two golden calves, one in Beisel and one in Dan. It says regarding, now since we're discussing this, we'll just mention a few things about the original egel. It says v'di zahav. What is di zahav? Amu debei Reb Yanai. They said in Yeshiva Reb Yanai, Amu Moshe l'fnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu Rebbeinu Shalom. Bishvil kesef v'zov sheshpato lehem Yisrael at sheyomru dai. Because of the gold and silver that you gave Klal Yisrael until you said dai, gorim lohem lasos lehem el hezav. That caused them to make themselves gods of gold. In other words, had they not had that, they wouldn't have done it. Had they not had it, they wouldn't have done it. Mashal, ein ari doiris v'noyim. A lion doesn't go ahead and begin to claw and to roar. He's not a vegan. Right? In the Kubishal Basa, that's where he gets going. So the same thing over here. What caused Bnei Yisrael to make the egel was the abundance of gold and silver. Amr V'shaya, Ad Yeravam Ho Yisrael Yonkim Me'egelecha. Till Yeravam, Bnei Yisrael, they were going ahead literally and nursing from one calf, meaning they were paying the price for one. Mikam Be'elech Mishnayim Mishleish Agolim. Amr Yitzchak, Ein Lecho Kapronius Pronish Shebala Olam. Any punishment that comes to Klal Yisrael, there's always going to be a little bit of the egel there. Rashi says, Lav Dafka 24, Litra Shal Egel Arishan. In other words, we didn't Moshe did not get a complete kapara for the egel, fellas. He didn't destroy us, but he didn't get a complete kapara. So any time where we are punished throughout history, in that punishment was a little bit retribution for what we did by the egel. Shneimar u'b'yom pakti upakadati aleim chatasam. On the day where I'll go ahead and make you pay the piper, right? I'll bring in the chait that he did against them. This was paid up after 24 generations. Rashi goes through from Moshe to Tzidkiyahu. Shnemar vayikra ba'oznei kol gadol lemor kovu pekudas eir v'ish kli mashchesa biyadoi. And from this pasuk, it's a long Rashi over here. Okay, I'm not going to go through the cheshbon over there. Achad dvarim hazel shov Yeravam midarcha Yerav, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants Yeravam to do tshuva, and he doesn't do it. Listen to this. My acher. What do you mean after acher? Amar Rabba. Acher shetfasa HaKadosh Baruch Hu li Yeravam bebigdai. Literally, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he grabbed Yeravam by his shirt. The Amar loy chazabecha, do tshuva. V'ani v'ato uben Yishai netayel began Eden. I and you and Ben Yishai will be getting like Eden. Notice over here, he puts him before Ben Yishai. Amar loy mi beroish, who's going to be in the head? He said Ben Yishai beroish. Ben Yishai is be in the head. He hachi loy beina. Then I says I don't want it. Mud in the Gemara. Here, guys, listen. HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells Yeravam, do tshuva. You do tshuva, you'll be with me, and you'll be David. Who's going to go first? David. No, I don't want. Bal Gaiva, right? So we have a Yad Ramah here. I have three things over here. Do you see Mi Baroish over here? Amalei Mi Baroish, Ben Yishai? Yes? Does it say Amalei Mi Baroish, Ben Yishai Baroish? Okay, great. Ayin Le'el, Tzadik Tesam and Aleph. Dam Rebbe Laza, B'mokum Shabali Tshuva Oindim, Tzadikim Gemurim Ein Oindim Sham. Because Safti B'ois Yad Bal... So the place where tzaddikim are, no, this is not the one I wanted. This is not the one I wanted. Okay, let me go back. That is the one I wanted. Okay, now you don't have it anymore, right? Okay. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little... Okay. Amalei Mi Baroish, Ben Yishai Baroish. Ayin Le'el, Akdam Rebbe Lazav, Makom Shabali Tshuva Oindim Tzadikim Gemurim Ein Oindim Sham. Because Safti B'ois Yad the Bali Tshuva Yadalid, Bois Yadalid, the Bali Tshuva Elu, Haim Achshe B'mikra Ba Devar Avera Liyadam, and the Devar Avera came to the hands, V'loi Under B'Nisayan. In other words, they didn't seek the Avera, but the Nisayan came to them, and then they failed. V'loi B'misha Hismi B'chetoi Ayin Shav, but not somebody who does an Avera all the time. There's a difference in quality of an Avera, fellas. If an Avera comes to your hands and you're nichshel in it, versus an Avera that you're doing all the time. So that we said, b'makam, that a Bali Tshuva stands, that Tzaddik can't stand, is not speaking about that Avera. That Avera that you do all the time, that is not. We're speaking about a person that had an Nisayan and failed. Uba'arech l'ner kasav, the Bal Tshuva, uba'arech l'ner kasav, the Bal Tshuva me'ava, the Bali Tshuva me'ava, shezedainai nasek is choyais, that a Bal Tshuva who is choyais me'ava, and then is zedainais, the Averis he does, b'meisa becomes a choyais, adifim it's tzadiki gemira, that's bigger than a tzaddik omer. Avoi Bali Tshuva me'yira, adif tzadiki. Tzadikim are bigger than Bali Tshuva me'yira. In other words, Av is a much bigger madrega, but Bali Tshuva me'yira, a tzaddik's great. Ulechein, mikoidim kishu amalei HaKadosh Baruch Hu, chasabecha, Hainu tshuva me'ava. Before HaKadosh Baruch Hu told Rechavam, he told Rechavam. Before he told him, I don't know, I'm trying to get this. Ulechein, mikayim kisham alei HaKadosh Baruch Hu chaza boy b'cha, hainu tshuva me'ava. When he said, do tshuva, that's me'ava. Az ani ve'ata ve'achakach ben yishai nital began Eden. If you do tshuva me'ava, you'll be a bal tshuva, and you'll be greater than David. Ani ve'ata ve'achakach ben yishai. Because the Nisayan came to your hand, you're doing tshuva, that now becomes a mitzvah for you. It becomes a schus for you. Aval kasher shal mi beroish. When Yeravam asked, who is beroish? Harishem mekavil etashlam gemul. Ve'enze tshuva mi'ava. He knows he wanted to be paid back for his tshuva. Ve'enze tshuva mi'ava, Hashem, oz ben yishai beroish. Then ben Rishai is beroish. Okay? You hear? So this is the Megalos Hayom. He's bothered by the Shini Lashon in the Gemara, fellas. First, Hashem says the following: I, you, Rechavam, and David. And then when he says who's going to be Barosh, then Hashem changes the order. What's the pshat? Pshat is initially he had a chance for tshuva me'ava. Had he done tshuva me'ava, he would have been greater than David. Why? Because b'makam balei tshuva me'ava. Ain't tzadikim gemurim yachal amid. But now that you're telling me that you're doing tshuva only because why? Because you have something to gain, that you'll be ahead. That's not tshuva me'ava. Memela, there, bali tshuva, you don't go ahead of the tzaddik. And therefore, David the tzaddik will come ahead of you. Okay, so this is all, guys, this is all a mashal. This limit over here, it's all a mashal. He grabs him by his shirt, and he's telling him, this is the Yad Ramah says, it's all derech mashal. Where was his greatness? In his shirt, guys. B'salma chadasha, right? It showed his Torah had no sfekis. It was clear. So Hashem takes him by the shirt to Miramis. Look who you are, what you are. It didn't help. But again, you get so this is all a mashal to explain that why, and now we understand why he didn't do tshuva. Now, I have something else here. I want to make sure, what is this? Not this, I'm going to get rid of this. No, okay, this is different. This is something else. Okay. So, Ken, Yeravam ben Nevat, fellas. Yeravam ben Nevat, great in Torah, unbelievable. No sveik, it's clear. Learning with Achia Shiloini, being Megala Amukais, things that people never seen before. Given a chance for tshuva. I'm telling you, it's unbelievable. And what does this person do? He leads Klal Yisrael 10 Shvatim astray, at kedei kach, that they're lost forever, according to Pashat Pshat. They never came back. They never came back after Sanhedrin came and was involved with the world. We don't know where they are, according to one opinion. We don't know. They never came back. All because of this person's gaiva. All because of Amar of Nachman, because of the gaiva of Yeravam, he was taken from this world. This all is one connected back to the opening line of the shir. That what the gaiva of him. You see what gaiva can do to a person? Take him out of the world. Okay. Rabbi Vo Havi Rogel the Havi Kodarish B'Shleishim Malachim. Rabbi Vo, he used to go ahead and he would go ahead and give drushes about the 3 Malachim. We have no chelik in the world. Menashe, Achav, and Yeravam. Anyway, he got sick. Kibul Le'adlei Darish. He said, you know what? The reason I got sick is maybe I shouldn't be darshing about them. Amid base. Kibin is the pach. He got better. Had the Kodarish. He started darshing about it again. So Ami the Talmid said to him, like Kabila Salach the Darash Tabu. Why don't you be kabbalah that you won't be darshing them? Don't worry your health. Amar inu mi hajabahu the ana hajabe. Did they do tshuva? Did I should do tshuva? Okay. Now this is a very famous Gemara. Rav Ashi uka ashloishim malachim. Rav Ashi also dashed about the 3 malachim. Amar lemocha niftach bechavrin. Tomorrow we'll go ahead what and we'll learn about our chaverim. He called the 3 kings his chaverim. Asu Menashe ischazi le bechalmei. That night Menashe came to Rav Ashi in a dream. Amar Menashe said to Rav Ashi, Chavroch v'chaverai da'avuch karasi lon. You call me and my friends, your colleagues, right? You call me that we're equal to you. So he asked him a question. What did he ask him? When you go ahead and you betsias apas, where do you break it from? If you have a piece of broken, where do you take it from? The crust or from the middle? So I'm lay it down. Rav Ashi said to Menashe, I don't know. Menashe said, you don't know where to go ahead And when you break a mitzi, you don't know where to break from. The chavrach karisla, and you call us your friend. Amalach. Rav Ashi said, Agmali, teach me. And tomorrow, when I go ahead, I'll darshan it. I'll say it over b'shem Amrei. Amrulei, Menashe said to Rav Ashi, Mehechim de korim bishula, from the part that's baked into a crust. So that's where you break it from. Amalei, Rav Ashi said, Me'achad de chachimas kuli hai, after you such a talmud chacham, my time cup hol chisula avodas kechav, my deserve avodas zara. Amalei, Menashe said to Rav Ashi, Yihavi Hasan, if you've been alive when I was alive, having a kitna b'shipule glima, you would have lifted the bottom of your coat, the roto abasroy, and you would have ran after the avodah zarah. L'macha amalei l'rabbanan, Rav Ashi told Rabbanan, niftach b'Rav Vasan. Today we're going to go ahead and start learning about Rav Vasan, our Rabbeim, our teachers. He changed his mind. It's amazing. You see Menashe, guys. Menashe, what do you see from here? You see that what I said the other day, that Chizkiyahu taught him Torah, even though he knew what it was going to be. He taught him Torah. Where did he learn this from? Chizkiyahu. Chizkiyahu taught everybody. Okay. So we're going to discuss now Achav. Achav was the Melech of Yisrael, not of Yehuda. He was the Melech of Yisrael. He was the Rosh Marusha. Obviously, he had no Chelik Olam Haba. And regarding Achav, Rabbi Yehuda says Menashe had a Chelik Olam Haba. No one says that Achav did. Achav, why was it called Achav? Ach l'shemayim. It's like woe to Shemayim. Avla avodas kechavim. So it's a new trikan. Ach of. Ach means lashon woe and of. So he was a woe to Shemayim and a father to avodas kechavim. Ach l'shemayim dechsiv. Ach l'tzari yivaled. Avla avodas kechavim dechsiv. Kirachim of albonim. By Yehi Anaka lechtoi b'chatois Yeravam ben Nevat, and he followed the averos of Yeravam ben Nevat. It was very, very easy for him. Rabbi Yochanan, Kalish Asa Achav kechamur shasa Yeravam. The easier things that Yeravam did was like the chamuras of Yeravam. That's how bad Achav was. That the littlest things he did were equal to the severest things that Yeravam did. Why did they make it Tali b'Yeravam? Because he was the beginning of the Avodah Zarah in Klal Yisrael. Gam is b'choisam kegalim al talmei sadai. They're mezbeches. They're like heaps of furrows of the field. Listen to this, guys. I'm Rabbi Yochanan. Ein lechol kol tlem v'tem be'eretz Yisrael. There's not one tlem in Eretz Yisrael. Shlei hemid alav achav avodas kechavim. That Achav did not go ahead and set up an Avodah Zarah. Yishtachav let down. There was not one tlem. Not one tlem. I did Avodah Zarah. It's amazing. How do you know that Achav had no chelik no haba? Dechsiv v'rati la'achav mashtem bakir. Al kodaf Yeravam. Rashi says mashtem bakir means a Talmud Chacham. V'otzav v'ozav b'Yisrael, and it'll be out a lashon otzav v'ozav. Otzav b'olam hazav v'ozav b'olam haba. And now Achav's father's name was Imri, right? So, Imri. Okay, how did they become kings of Klal Yisrael? I'm Rabbi Yochanan. Omrei l'malchus. Why did Omri zech the malchus? He had it on one city in Eretz Yisrael. Shneimar vayiken esahor shoimroin. He bought the mountain of Shoimroin me'es Shemer from a person named Shemer. B'chirayim patu kikarim of Kesef. Even esahor, and he built on the mountain. Vayikra Shema ir asher bana al shem Shemer. He called it Shemer. Odain ahor Shoimroin. I'm Rabbi Yochanan. If they mam b'zoicha Achav the Malchus Eshem Mishana, why did Achav get to rule for 22 years? Because he's mechabel the Torah that was given with 22 letters. Okay, he's under attack from a Ben Hadad, Melech of Aram, and he sends in this message. What's the message that Ben Aram sends? This message: Vayishlach malachim el Achav Melech vayom eloi koyamar Ben Hadad kaspecha your kesef uzahavcha and your gold lihu belongs to me. V'nashecha uvanecha hatoivim li heim, and your wives and your children, they're also mine. They're also mine. Ki im koes machar eshlach es avaday elecha v'chipsu es beisecha. They'll check into your houses. There's batei avodecha, and the houses of your servants. And everything that's machmad, that's precious to you, they're going to take away. And Achav sent back a message. Taking my kesef is okay. Taking my zov is okay. Taking my wives is okay. Taking the children away, it's okay. But the machmad you can't do that. My machmad necha lav sefer Torah. So we see Achav gave cover to the Sefer Torah. He was not going to let Ben Hadad take away the Sefer Torah. Mainly was lechet for Malchus for 22 years because of the 22 Oisius of the Torah. Fred the Gemara, how do you know Machbere Nech refers to a Torah? Dilma avoidis kichavim. Perhaps it refers to what, to avoid the Zara. Says Moisal Kedaitach Tichsiv. By Yom Reilov Kol Asakanim V'Chol Am Al Tishma V'Lei Soiva. All the Zakanim, all the Yom said, don't listen to him. Don't listen to what Ben Hadad wanted to do. Fred the Gemara, V'Dilma Sabei Devavasa. Maybe they were fools. Maybe they're elder fools. Where do you see elder fools? We see from Avshalom. The Avshalom calls Ziknei Yisrael, and the advice that the advice that Achia Hashiloni gave, not Achia Hashiloni. I guess the advice that Achitofel gave was right in the eyes of Avshalom and Ziknei Yisrael. Now, who is the Canaan? Vamarav Yosef Sabei Devavasa. These were what? These were foolish people. So therefore, maybe the Sabim over here are also foolish people. What's the raya that's the Canaan over here is that they refused to listen to the request of Ben Hadad is referring to Talmidei Chachamim, really chashuv people. Maybe it's older fools like we see by Avshalom. Says the Gemara, no, Hasam like Siv Cholam. There it doesn't say Cholam. It just says Ziknei. Over here it says Cholam and Sekanim. Hachak Siv Cholam, here it says Cholam. The Yevshali Havi Boin Tzaddik. It's not possible there went Tzaddikim overhead who told him not to listen to Ben Hadad. The Ksiv is Shati B'Yisrael Shivas Alafim Kol Habrekayim Ashaloi Koru LeBaal, that 7,000 people did not bow down to the Baal. V'Chol HaPeh Shaloi Nashekba Peh did not kiss the Baal. So what do you see? You see that he gave cover to Torah, refused to go ahead and give what the Machbere Necha, and that's why he was lechem for Malchus. Amrav Nachman. Achav Shakal Haya. Achav was Shakal. When it came to Din V'Cheshbon, he was a Shakal. He was equal. Remember? Vayom Hashem, Mi Yifata Es Achav, who will go ahead and entice Achav, V'Yal V'Yipol V'Ramaskilad, that he should go up and fall into the hands of Ramaskilad. Vayomer Zeh B'Chai, V'Zeh Omer B'Chai. One said this and one said that. So Pasha guys is that you have Malachim on one side, Malachim on the other side, this and this, that he's equal. In other words, you can't punish him. Maskal Rabbi Yosef, Ma'id Ksiv Bei Rak Lehoya Ba'achav Asher Hismacher Lasei Sarabeini Hashem Asher Hisasa Oisoi Ezevel Ishtoi. Right? Someone, it says about him, there never was anyone like Achav who is Maki, sold himself to do the wrong thing in the eyes of HaKadosh Baruch Hu because his wife, his Ezevel, enticed him. He literally sold himself to Avodah Zarah, and every day his wife would go ahead and weigh out gold and give it for Avodah Zarah. You say he was what? He was a shakel. Meaning he wasn't a Rasha Marusha. Says the Gemara, Ella, what do you have to say? Achav vatran b'moinahavi. Achav, he had a big schus. What was his big schus? When it came to his money, he was mevata. Since he gave Talmidei Chachamim to have enough from his nechasim, kippurlei mechza. The half of his sins were forgiven, and therefore what? Therefore he was considered shakel. It says, "Vayetzi ruach vayamud v'nei Hashem." A ruach comes out in front of Hashem. Vayomer ani afatenu. I'll go ahead and I'll seduce Achav to go to battle to die in Ramaskilad. Vayomer Hashem ilav b'ma. How will you seduce him? Vayomer eitzi vayisi ruach sheker b'fiv kol neviyav. I'll go ahead and put a ruach of sheker in his mouth, the mouth of all his neviim, that they should go to battle. Vayomer tefate, go ahead and do it. Become tuchel say and go. Va'aseh can go do it. My ruach, what's the ruach? Amar Rabbi Yochanan, ruach shal novas haYisraeli. This is the ruach of Nova Yisraeli. He was the person that had a beautiful kerem next to the palace, and Achav wanted it. He refused to sell it to him, so they had people come and false aides come and say that he was loyal to Malchus, disloyal to Ibn B'Gadev Hashem, and they killed him. And this is the ruach of Achav. Anyway, of Navos. And now it says Hashem tells him to go. Might say, what do you mean to go? Ravina, say me mechitzasi, go leave me. In other words, you can't be near me. Those people who speak sheker, they can't be next to me, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And you said you're going to go ahead and tell the Nevi'im to say sheker. That's what people say. That's what people say. The para kiva machriv basis. A person who goes ahead to take the kama like that causes what? Destruction. Because Navos, as a result of taking the kama, he's going to go ahead and he's going to be sent away from what? He's going to be sent away. Okay, let's just finish up. I want to do something inside. V'yas achav es Hashem, Rabbi Yosef achav lasas lahachas Hashem elokei Yisrael mikol malchei Yisrael asher hayu lefanav. Mamish enged HaKadosh Baruch Hu like no one before. He put Omer Rabbi Yochanan shekosav al dasas Shamron. He put again on. He was in the north. He put on the doors of the Shamron. Achav kafar belokei Yisrael lefikach ein lechelik beelokei Yisrael. Okay. This is from the Vashinantam. Ki ruchos neshamas Yisrael tzruros b'tzorachayim. The neshamas and ruchos of Yisrael, they're underneath the kisei hakavod. B'mechitzas HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Ulam doi b'sheker, someone who speaks sheker lo yikin sham, can't reside there. Kimin shesham chakuka tzuras Yaakov, because on the kisei hakavod it is engraved the tzur of Yaakov Avinu. Shemidasei emes. That's the midah of emes, says the Marsha. Right? The Yaakov emes. Titein emes the Yaakov, guys. Titein emes the Yaakov. They're the throne, kisei kovet's emes, it can't be there. V'yesh lahakshos. Im lo yaha adava hagun, if it's not correct what Novis did, eich amalei Kodesh Baruch Hu lasis kain. How could Hashem tell him to do it? Guys, what happened? Kodesh Baruch Hu goes ahead. He asks for who's going to go ahead and entice Achav to get in battle to be killed. Comes along Novis and said, I will. And he goes, what are you going to do? I'm going to go ahead and get him to say Navi Sheker. Kodesh Baruch Hu asks, who has a plan over here? So he goes, tells him the plan, and what does Hashem do? Great plan. Say, get out of here. I don't want to see you again. What's pshat? Hear the kasha? Hear the kasha? What's pshat? What's pshat? What went on over there? What's pshat? Okay. Ubira yad ramah. Shahari midas adin hoisin senes lahachshalis neviya sheker b'nevuah sheker. The midas adin is given over to Machshel the Nevi'eh Sheker by being Nevi Sheker. Ulenasais al Yedei Kenes Yisrael. And to go ahead by Nevi'eh Sheker going ahead and saying Nevuah of Sheker, that's to go ahead and test Klal Yisrael. V'chein lahachshel es Achav, and also to go ahead and be Machshel Achav Kadeshi Yipol v'Yamais. Ulam, in other words, you're supposed to go ahead and get them to do that. However, Navos Asa Shleika Hoigim B'Kach. He himself said, "I'm going to do it." The lashon, guys, look at the lashon of the Gemara. Says the Gemara. Vayetze ruach vayam l'fnei Hashem vayomer ani afatenu vayomer Hashem elov v'ma vayomer etze. And now he shouldn't have said what he said. For you see, ruach sheker, I'll be a ruach sheker, mi pi kol neviyav. He shouldn't have done that. He shouldn't have said that. Leave it to Hakadosh Baruch Hu to take care of that. You shouldn't have gone ahead and said that. Right. So therefore, ubir yad mara. One more time. Shreimidus adin hoisa noisenes lahachsheles neviyah sheker b'nevuah sheker. So the midas adin wanted to get neviyah sheker to say sheker. In addition, to test the Klal Yisrael whether they listen or not. In addition, also to get Achav that he should die. Ulam navos asa shleika hoigin bekach shehigdim v'etzia came me'atzmo. He himself came up with this idea. The kiman shegila daita shenoyach le'sheker. Since he revealed that what? In other words, if Hashem would have told him to say sheker is one thing, but him coming up with the plan and saying he's willing to do it, Amle Kodesh Baruch Hu sheyasa can go ahead and do it. Kiman shemegalgan schus al yidei zakai v'choy al yidei chayev. And therefore, you should do it, but Einachinami, since you came up with the idea, it's not going to be acceptable. Now you see over here that Acha was a tremendous slave of the Avodah Zarah, but ultimately, and he was a shokol. In other words, the fact that he was mevat on his money and he supported Talmidei Chachamim, shows that he had something good for him. Ultimately, what caused his demise, fellas? The shvichas damim, the fact that he killed Navos. So all the Mefarshim bring down this Rambam, and you'll see for a good reason. All the Mefarshim bring down this Rambam. Okay, this Rambam, you see a Rambam? You see anything? Do you see anything? Yes or no? You see a Rambam? Good. Now, this you remember, fellas. This Rambam is in Dalid. It's in Dalid from Hilchas Reitzeach, Halacha Ches and Tes. Halacha Ches. Haharig nefashos v'lehoyu sham edim. You kill someone and there was no edim there. Roy noisei ka'achas. In other words, They didn't see it together. One saw one place, one saw the other place. He killed in front of Eidim without Asra. They got him in the bedikais, but they didn't get him in the chakirais. So all these we know for sure they killed, but we can't kill the guy. Kol elu haratzchanim, all these murderers, you put him in jail, in a cell, lechem tsar umayim lachatz, ashiyitzer meyehem, and the achakach, right? We killed it. Basically, we killed them. So in other words, we don't administer, this is hereg, this is one of the two things you get hereg for, but we will kill them. However, listen to what he says here, guys. You do not do this to the rest of the people, Mises Pesden. If a person is B'chal Shabbos, you don't do this. Avodah Zarah, you don't do this. Aval im Nischayev Misa, if he's Chayev Misa, Mamitin Esai, you kill him right away. V'mein Chayev Misa, Poichin Esai, he gets off the hook. She'afa pish, off the hook, b'dei Adam. She'afa pish yes avonos chamurim, mishvichas damim. Even though there are averos that are worse than shvichas damim. Ein behem has chasas yeshuva shel olam. They don't destroy the yishuv of the world, kishvichas damim. Guys, look at the lashon of the Rambam. Ein behem has chasas yeshuva shel olam, kishvichas damim. Afilo avodah zarah. If you have idolaters in the world, you have Mechal Shabbos in the world, it's not going to kill the society. You have murderers in the world, you put them on planes and you send them to El Salvador. That's what you do. You don't go ahead You don't go ahead and have them in the world. You can't have a yishuv with them in the world. Arroyos Shabbos is not going to destroy the world. That's all averos bein adam l'makan. Al shvichas damim me'averos shebeino levein chaveroi. Of murder, Harihu Rasha Gamor, the Ein Kol Mitzvah She'asa Kol Yamav Shkulim Keneged Oven Zeh. Any mitzvah he does is not equal to what he did. He won't be saved. Shenemar Adam Oshuk Bedam Nefesh. Save Lamad Me Achav Ovdei Avodah Zarah. Be'achav Ovdei Avodah Zarah Shari Nemaba Rak Loihoya Ka'achav Ukeshinisadroi Avonoisav V'Tzchuyoisav V'Fnei Elokei Haruchos. The only thing that's going to get him is the blood of Navais. Even though there wasn't one tlem in Eretz Yisrael that wasn't served as Avodah Zarah. Not one tlem that wasn't served as Avodah Zarah. Go get him. You'll be successful. Right? Who are Russia? Leharig biyadai. El sivav kal v'cham leharig biyadai. Got away. Even though what he himself didn't kill. El sivav kal v'cham leharig biyadai. In other words, even guys, Achav himself didn't physically kill Navais, but he found a reason to kill Navais, and he's considered a murderer. So you see how severe shvichas damim is. And the Rambam, they bring that lashon of the Rambam. Okay, a little more. Achav had a grandson, Achazyahu. They looked for Achazyahu and they captured him, and he was hiding in the Shomron. Now, why was he hiding? Amrab Levi, listen what he did. He scratched out the mentions of Hashem's name, the Koisav Avodas Kechavim Tachteyem, and he wrote the name of Avodah Zarah in their place. And I guess we'll stop over here.